Hello, friends. I am Agent 56, Cassandra Joan Butler, along with you at the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. And happy everything. This is the countdown to Yule and to Christmas and to Hanukkah. And we're going to be enjoying this countdown with a gibbous cycle and a full moon cycle, which I'll be talking about tonight. And just sharing some insights about astrology. I'll make it a little personal here for you tonight as well. And we like to also offer some spiritual messages. So I welcome you to the Cosmic Intelligent Pages. And I want to remind you, my friends, that you can become a part of one of the grandest and greatest collection of astrologers, I believe, on the planet by joining the Cosmic Intelligence Agency, right? As a participant, as an astrologer, there are so many wonderful offerings coming up, especially as we're crossing into this new era. This new era of 2022 and a big nodal shift that will be happening in approximately a month. So, in any case, let us now talk about what's going on out there. But I want to do a great hello to Rule and Melissa and Faith and Vixie and Georgia and Jake and Jason. Thank you for being here tonight. And I appreciate your participation. I hope everyone is well. I was off for a couple of weeks. I was spending some time with my friends and my family. It was a great break. I really had made some great memories. And I just want to do a little sharing with you, which of course is astrological, because I'm always seeing the world through the eyes of an astrologer. So, one of the least favorite diseases of our time paid a visit into my body. And knock on wood, I am free and clear as of this moment of the terrible V. And yes, I did have a very mild case of the virus, and I'm very grateful. I'm very well. But I want to share with you some astrological triggers that occur in my chart, right? So if any of you have suffered from this, I would like to ask this question of you. And here's the question. I experienced such terror when I got that diagnosis that it shocked me. And again, I'm reasonably healthy. I am not the youngest chicken on the planet, right? I'm at risk. I've got risk factors, but I very aggressively treated it. I had some help with some doctors. I had a lot of help from my voracious cabinetry of supplements. I'm a big supplement girl. I was only really sick for about 48 hours. I had a little bit of a temperature. I had some aches and pains, and I slept more than I've slept in the preceding month. What was happening to my chart? Well, in my chart, I have a very mutable configuration, right? I have a Virgo moon at 10 degrees. I have Mars at 15 degrees of Pisces. So just picture that. Moon opposite Mars in those early degrees, mutable. Well, my friends, on that grand solar eclipse of 12 degrees of Sagittarius, I got squared, pickle in the middle. Yep, a nice T-square was formed in my chart, and that was the day I came down with the dreaded V. And again, I'm grateful. I'm fine. I went through my 3 questions I asked myself. The first question was, I can't possibly have it. I was in denial. And then I remembered lots of stuff I've read over the 2 years of investigating this. All the medical people say the same thing. Early treatment counts, early treatment counts. So again, I did a lot of home care, a lot of self-treatment. It was all home care. I never went to the hospital, although I have a high risk type of older physiology. I was fine, number one. And then the next thing that occurred to me was this voracious fear. I was just soaking in this terror. And I've had some very serious medical things happen in my own personal life, Mars was involved with that one too, way back when. But this was different. I was just really scared. And then the third thing that occurred to me was this: who gave it to me? Not where did I find this thing to enter my body, but who gave it to me? Which is kind of a silly question if you think about it, because no one goes out and wants to hand deliver a V to someone, right? Nobody does that. I think on a spiritual level, and this is just a thought, and you can disagree or you can reflect on it. If you have suffered from this horrifically fearful, fearsome disease, I wonder if you had the same experience of terror. And if inside your brain, archetypally, you started to pick fights with people in your head and you were thinking, who gave it to me? Who gave it to me? Until I finally realized it happened. There's a darkness associated with this V, friends, on a spiritual dimension, which I have never experienced. And I've had my share of medical issues and problems, but those are my 2 cents, right? I was T squared on both ends of my chart. And that solar eclipse, like all good solar eclipses, always give us this message, my friends. Just when you think the light is disappearing, it comes back, it returns. Think of the terror our forefathers and our foremothers had when the sun or the moon went out. It's just a very simple message from what a solar eclipse represents. But if it's very prominent in your chart, you may feel that sense of despair or despondency that the light will go out. But the light did return in my particular case. So that's my question of the week for you. How have you navigated the solar eclipse at 12 degrees of Sagittarius, which is the Sabian symbol of a widow reviews her life's past, reviewing the past. A widow reviews her past, regains insight from reviewing her past. So again, that was December 4th. Now, my friends, we're coming up to the grand full moon of the 18th of this month at 27 degrees of Gemini. And that particular, kind of interesting, the full moon that's about to be had and experienced from across the planet, its Sabian symbol is about starting again, right? It's the bankruptcy degree. The Sabian symbol bankruptcy degree. Society gives an overburdened individual an opportunity to begin again. Society gives an overburdened individual an opportunity to begin again. Liberation from the past, liberation from the past. So what an interesting time we are leading as we're saying goodbye to 2021 with the last vestiges of the solar eclipse in Sagittarius. We're saying goodbye to Sagittarius Gemini nodes, right? We're moving forward as we get into the middle of January. Then we go into this new era, the nodal shift in Taurus and Scorpio. How interesting is that, friends? Okay. Be the light in the darkness was my true north node. Beautiful, Joanne. I love that. Be the light in the darkness, my true north node during the Sag eclipse. Georgia is a Sag. You had lots of purging and wisdom gaining. Yes, indeed. So we're still under this last phase of the Sagittarius Gemini nodal dance that we've all been sharing since May of 2020. And so I like what you say there, Georgia, right? Because what we're doing, we're processing all the wisdom that we have gleaned since the middle of 2020. So wherever wisdom Sagittarius falls in your chart, savor that as we count down into the new year. Savor that. Okay. Yes. Oh, thank you. Find your, yes, low vibration and darkness. Yeah. I mean, I was shocked. I was utterly shocked at my awareness and consciousness being sucked into this, but also the blame game. And then the residual fallout from the V, right? Which some of us are experiencing on a personal level. I am as well, right? Gemini The Gemini polarity, putting people into boxes, the V's and the non-V's, the V's for the V's. Oh my Lord. Maybe we're just all people struggling in our own way. My 2 cents. So I get excited every lunar phase that begins with G. The gibbous phase really is one of my favorite, because as we count down to gibbous, which takes place, I'm just kind of lazy. I should do all the time changes, but you guys are smarter than I am. So when I say 4:50 in the morning on December 16th, I'm speaking to you from Buffalo, New York, and near Niagara Falls. People all know Niagara Falls. Well, in any case, at 4:50 in the morning tomorrow on the 16th, do the calculations for wherever you are on the planet. We have this gibbous phase, and the gibbous phase is at 25 degrees, 24 degrees, rounded up to 25 degrees of Taurus, and it's a vast public park. So I think that's very appropriate, because this is the degree, the Sabian symbol degree of collective enjoyment. However you may celebrate the season of the light returning, right? Yule on winter solstice, of course, Christmas or New Year's or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, whatever holiday that you are marking during these last weeks of 2021. Find something that's collectively enjoyable. The public park, that's the Sabian symbol with gibbous. As we count down to the full moon, find some release to relax with your peeps. Find your tribe, find some friends. Look at the lights somewhere. If you can't get out because of the V's and the V's, drive somewhere, take a walk and look at the lights. Look at the lights in the sky. Observe the planets and the stars and the moon, the beautiful full moon. Collective enjoyment. The gibbous phase gives us kind of a relief from the very tight Pluto conjunct Venus we've all been experiencing in the previous week, right? So when Venus and Pluto have been hugging in the sky, to me, that represented, in Capricorn, that represented that fear factor, that nobody really feels safe. Pluto dominating Venus. What is Pluto going to do to things and people I love? My money, my security, my safety. I think that we've had a collective experience, my friends, in the past week of not feeling safe. And now, while 25 degrees of Capricorn is not the exact degree of the year of transformation of January 12th, 2020, when Saturn and Pluto were together in the sky, it's still close enough. Whenever we find a strong Pluto aspect, there's that lingering fear of the great fear of all. What's the great fear of all? It's annihilation, it's death. Even people such as myself who do believe in an afterlife and I do my mediumship, I'm not quite, my senses can't quite guarantee it. I know it, I feel it, but so there's, in psychological terms, nihilism is a very real thing, right? So I think that we've experienced some nihilistic fears through the V, but also in the past week with Pluto conjunct Venus. Now it's moving away. And the gibbous cycle, we have the moon trining Pluto and the moon trining Venus. So the moon in Taurus is going to try to stabilize and ground our consciousness about what matters in life. So when we find this beautiful gibbous moon, gibbous phase, I should say, with Taurus, it's reminding us to find what gives us pleasure, what matters in our lives. We also have Mars conjunct the South Node. To me, that represents the urgency of letting go of the past, of letting go of anger, and letting go of philosophical, Sagittarius that is, disputes amongst the people you care about, letting go of the past, letting go of anger. Like there's an urgency with Mars on the South Node. It's a removal and a letting go of attitudes which no longer serve you. right? In my mind, gibbous is also the phase of the great opening up to our intuition. It's the anticipatory phase right before the full moon. And I have found with my spiritual, intuitive psychic work that all people become a little bit more intuitive during this time frame. So open yourself up to your own personal spiritual messages, my friends. Meanwhile, our friend Neptune is opposite Psyche. So that's also giving us a little oomph of being able to read for others as well. All right, I'm going to say hello to people. F Pluto. Yeah, I like Pluto loves that F word too, by the way. I mean, he's just so diabolical. Hello, fellow Sagittarius, everyone else, love and light. I need to find my tribe, going through some really rough times. Leo, I totally get that. You know, it's I think we're just craving connection. Even if you have a big family or a big friendship circle, there's that feeling that we've all experienced of Saturn and Aquarius, right? Social distancing, my friends, right? We've been distancing ourselves. We've been implored upon. We've been demanded upon. We've been forced to distance ourselves at a metaphorical level, at a physical level. And I think psychologically we're exhausted from physically removing ourselves from our fellow human beings. So this gibbous cycle with juicy, grounded Taurus, trining Pluto, and the moon is trining Venus, it's reminding us to try to find something, a collective park, that gives us pleasure. I'll tell you a little something about my experience with the big V, friends. I have lost my taste and I have lost my smell. Now, as the mama of 4 animals in my little home, I have a modest home, not that large. I must say that, the cat boxes and so forth, I don't miss not smelling certain things, but it's really weird to have lost my taste and smell. I hope it comes back. But what really matters? I'm asking myself what really matters. I'm alive. I am so alive and I'm so grateful. So, a couple comments there. Meanwhile, Black Moon Lilith is conjunct Ceres and is conjunct the North Node, the last gasps of that polarizing Gemini. And I love Gemini energy. I love it all, right? But I think as Black Moon is casting her energy along with Ceres on the North Node in Gemini, separating words and separating ideas and blame game and polarizing people. And we're all having had that experience somewhere in our lives, I am sure, with differing points of view, different philosophical points of view, how to manage the great V. I am so glad when the nodes will shift, because I'm sick of people putting each other into boxes and categories. Yes, no, right, wrong. I'm sick of it. So anyway, with Black Moon Lilith, she's just shuttering up the pot and making a little bit more of that. I don't know. Again, I would be open to hearing what you have to say about that, my friends. A couple other comments about the astrology. So this weekend is a big weekend in many, many ways. We have the full moon, and we have, of course, the sun at the galactic center. And think about what that means when we have the galactic center being activated as we count down to winter solstice. I always like to say that I love this time of year because, yes, it's the holidays, but it's also the celestial holiday of Yule. And it's also the time when we come up to the center of our galaxy and we can do some exercises to center ourselves, going back into the idea of meditating, of retreating, of activating our own personal truth and centering within ourselves what matters again. That's the message of the gibbous phase. And then we really get a jolt on Sunday when Venus goes retrograde. Now, Venus is retrograding in Capricorn. You all know that. She retrogrades until the 29th of January. What kind of message is that? Again, just a very simple one I want to share with you tonight or this morning, whatever time you may be listening to me. Venus retrograde to me is reminding us to love ourselves through the auspices of Capricorn. Capricorn is about respect, loving boundaries, loving the respectful boundaries between my thoughts, my life, and your thoughts and your life. So respect, reliability, professionalism, treating the people we love with a good dollop, a good dose of Capricorn action. Capricorn's an action sign. Act professional even with the people we love. So that Venus retrograde is asking us to do that. And at the same time, when Venus is retrograding this weekend, we also have Chiron going direct. Chiron, the wounded healer, at 8 degrees of Aries. Oh my. Identify, dear friends, where you find Aries in your chart. Identify it. Identify where Aries falls in your chart. Aries, Chiron, is the narcissistic wound. The narcissistic wound. Early with the great pandemic shift, early in 2020, was the March new moon and the subsequent full moon in April. I notice the very strong signature of Chiron in Aries. And I think one of the positive things, one of the very positive things of the collective experience of the past 22 months has been an identification with our own personal identity, where you find Aries, and also the narcissistic wound is it's not all about me. All of us had to be very mindful about our fellow human beings, whether it be in being super careful in the way you are engaged in social networking, whether it be super careful in doing the hand washing and doing the simple things. And I think as we get into the brink and the last vestiges of this nodal shift, I think it's also giving us the Chiron going direct, the amazing signature of, you know what? You do you and I'll do me. Venus retrograde in Capricorn. Respect each other's differing opinions. They might not be your opinion. You don't want to be the narcissist. Chiron and Aries. I have all the answers. We all kind of, have been playing around with that. Well, I read this there and I read this there and I'm right. You're right in what you do for you. And Chiron going direct is going to identify, just like it did way back when in September of 2018, it went direct back then. It's going to re-trigger something that was bothering you then. It's going to be re-triggering what's going to be bothering you now, this weekend, and that you have to dig in your heels and try to heal whatever that wound might be, where you find 8 degrees of Aries. Quick little story, because it's just so amazing to me how astrology works, right? So in September of 2018, I was doing a retreat. I was doing a healing retreat up near Niagara Falls, where I'm living close to. I had, a couple dozen people up there at the retreat. We were working on our healing. We're working on our releasing of physical healing. So I'm also a healer. And I get this emergency phone call in the middle of the retreat from my son. And he said, "Mom, Teddy the dog can't walk." Oh my God. So I flew out of the retreat, leaving all of my students, but I didn't quite tell them. I just pretended because it was late at night. And I flew back home, and there was my beloved little Bichon mixed doggy Teddy, and he was limping and he couldn't move. And so I don't know where you all are from and different veterinarian care, but we have some 24-hour veterinarian hospitals that were open for a hefty price, I may add. But anyway, I got my little doggy there like at midnight, and he had a bladder stone surgery, and he survived. And he was elderly then, and he's elderly today. And again, now that Chiron is going direct, wouldn't you know it, Teddy had a little accident at the groomers today. She cut his tongue. Not as bad. I mean, he didn't require surgery, but I'm thinking, wow, how coincidental is that? In my chart, 8 degrees of Aries falls right in the doorway between my 7th and 6th house. The 6th house is pets, right? So Teddy's one of my little partners. Little Teddy had 2 emergency things when Chiron went direct in my chart. So identify, dear friends, where the Chiron is falling in your chart, and you might get an analogy with September 30-ish of 2018. Okay. Okay, Sherry, she says to the groomer, she can't believe that. Can you believe that, Sherry? When I went to the vet today, they told me that apparently this happens more than you might think. So, I mean, I should show you a picture of this beautiful puppy. He's so adorable, but she just sliced his little tongue, and apparently she calls it, the vet did, this is the snake tongue. I mean, my little 14-year-old pooch now has a snake tongue. It will heal, but it was terrifying. I am not good with blood, friends, right? Just not. But he's good now. He's good now. Thank you. You have 2 dogs. Yep. Poor little Teddy. Oh my gosh. But isn't that interesting, friends? See if that makes a connection with you. Leo, you want to go to a retreat? You know what, friends? I am very much being what's the word? Inspired to do another retreat, probably in April, with the Jupiter Neptune conjunction to celebrate Pisces in our charts, right? And it's going to be virtual, of course, because everything's virtual these days, but it'll be a hybrid. God willing, New York State lets me have people come into a building where we can commiserate with or without the masks. I don't know. A lot can happen in April, right? April's a ways away. So keep that in the back of your mind. Also, just a look-see, friends. I know many of you are already members of the CIA, but please check it out. It's an amazing, wonderful resource for your astrological learning. Tons of great information, workshops, etc. And I also offer smaller versions of different classes. Check out my website. It's CassandraJoanButler.com. Okay, and I will be doing a year ahead under the umbrella of Lily Dale Assembly this Saturday, the first of many classes on the year ahead. So again, reminder, we have Gibbous until the full moon on this weekend. Then on Sunday, we've got Venus going retrograde. We have Chiron going direct. And I thought this is kind of interesting for those of you who especially are from the USA, but even if you're not from the USA, I'm sure you remember this story. Probably at least 3/4 of you were not alive when I tell you what the story is. I was just a kid. I was in kindergarten. Today, the National Archives of the U.S. government released 1,500 documents from the JFK assassination. Wow. 58 years ago, and they're still releasing secret documents. Gee, I thought it was just Lee Harvey Oswald who was the lone gunman who killed the president, JFK, in 1963. Well, they've been, keeping all these documents entrenched. The reason why I mention that at all is that when you look at the United States of America, one of its biggest wounds was the U.S.'s violence, right, with Chiron and Aries in the fourth house, which can be a good thing if it's peaceful protests. But Chiron and Aries is in the fourth house of the United States of America's chart. And Chiron goes direct, right, this weekend. I thought that was just kind of interesting that they're pulling out more documents from the JFK assassination. Very interesting. That was 58 years ago. Of course, Chiron's orbit is 50 years, but 58 years ago would have been maybe the build-up to the assassination. Who knows? Who knows? But I just want to share that with you. All right, friends, let's go through the different signs. This is Reader's Digest. I know I have very many sophisticated astrologers out there, but this may help kind of ground you for the week ahead, the week ahead. Hello, dear Susan. Thank you for the healings. Yes. You remember that, Susan. I do too. I do too. I was in school when they told us to, and I had no visual. I had no way of understanding as I think it was a 7-year-old when they had made that announcement. Okay. Thank you for sharing, sweetheart. Sharing is caring. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Thank you for that comment, Sherry. The groomer wasn't taking her time. My doggy is fine. But remember, dear friends, I like to share stuff about me as a learning lesson. So make an analogy between Chiron going direct and in my case, with my dog having emergency stuff, he went way back when in late September of 2018, he had emergency surgery. He survived. So just check out where that 8 degrees of Aries falls in your chart. It will be relevant this weekend. You may already be feeling it. What do I want to really dive into and heal in my life? Again, the Aries narcissistic wound, perhaps. Okay, this is relative now. Some little glimpses for you for the next few days, this week ahead. For Aries, the download of the gibbous phase is asking you to pay attention to creating more abundance in your life, to create a better sense of income flow, and to bolster up your self-esteem. For Taurus or Taurus rising, this particular phase is asking you to stand your ground with love and stand your ground with grace, of being able to project the real, authentic you to friends and family without fear. This upcoming gibbous phase for the Gemini or Gemini rising may find yourself a little bit tired or needing to retreat or relax. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to the ability to meditate and receive downloads with this gibbous phase. For Cancer or Cancer rising, this particular week with the gibbous cycle leading up to the full moon is asking you to really reflect on who your tribe is. Who are your best friends? Who can you commiserate with and share your authentic self? For Leo or Leo rising, this gibbous phase is asking you to intuit what you need to do to become a stronger leader in the world, whether that be with your career or in your community. For Virgo or Virgo rising, the gibbous phase is asking you to open yourself up to spirit, to give you a new lease on life in terms of expansion, perhaps travel, perhaps market your message to others, and to be very clear on how you want to communicate. For Libra or Libra rising, this gibbous phase is asking you to trust spirit in terms of receiving information that can empower you to do some deep healing on the psychological level, on the spiritual level. For Scorpio or Scorpio rising, this particular gibbous phase is asking you to pay attention to who your BFFs are. Who are your friends? Who are your partners? Who can you count on? And are you being a very positive role model to your partner? Are you able to be generous without losing yourself and losing your boundaries? For Sagittarius or Sagittarius rising, this gibbous phase is asking you to take care of yourself. Do your self-care. Listen to your body. Listen to what you need to do to exercise or give yourself positive nutrition. For Capricorn or Capricorn rising, the gibbous phase is asking you to play, to connect with spirit, to have more creativity, joy, or romance in your life. For Aquarius or Aquarius rising, this gibbous phase is helping you download what you need to do to create stronger familiar bonds, taking care of your family, paying attention to their needs and the flow of that connection. Even if you have a family of one, which might be a furry friend, it's still your family, paying attention to your family circuit. And then last but not least is our beautiful Pisces. This gibbous phase is asking you to download what you need to do to organize your time, organize your workspace, and, maybe reboot your schedule. All right, friends, as we usually do, I'm going to say hello, hello. Thank you for the blessings, Kimberly, for my little doggy. And we have Virgos here and Aries here. A lot of Aries tonight. Cool. All right. Okay. Very, very welcome. You're very welcome. Healing abilities are getting stronger. That's fantastic, Georgia. Beautiful. Hi, Stacy. Okay. So for our last leg of our cosmic connections, friends, if you would like to get a spiritual message, please say so in the comments, and then I will come to you randomly using my eyes closed and my finger doing the walking. All right, so it's very simple. All you need to do is say, I'd like to get a read, I'd like to get a message, and I'll turn on my mediumistic hat. Okay, so dear God, please allow me to serve. Please allow my words be filled with love and light and truth. As we align ourselves with the holiest of spirits and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay. Okay. Leo Brialt. Leo Brialt, I came to you, sir. All right. Leo. As I'm tuning into your energy, Leo, I think you're most aptly named. I'm not saying that you have to be a Leo sun sign, but you do have a lot of leadership abilities. And what Spirit is saying to me for you tonight is that there's a bit of frustration in your life right now, because even though you've got so much to offer so many, you have been struggling with being recognized or validated by either the powers that be in your professional life or perhaps your community. And it's almost like there's this impatience I'm feeling from you. It's like, wait a minute, I have all this I want to share. I have all this wisdom I want to utilize to lead and help others, but people aren't accepting what I have to offer at this moment. So as I'm tuning into Leo, I'm seeing the end of January of 2022 and through the 1st of March when things begin to shift. And I think the shifting is coming first with your career or your job, where you're feeling more comfortable in your role, or maybe it's a new job, or maybe you're taking some skills and doing self-employment. It could be all three, because you have yet to arrive into your happy place where things just flow. And it will happen, sir, as we get towards the end of January, first part of February. Be patient. I'm also feeling with you a sensitivity. It's not so much a negative at all, but there's been a readjustment in a personal relationship that has gone through its fears in the personal relationship of giving too much or taking too much, but things seem a lot more stable in that regard. In the Wizard of Oz, who is it? If I only, like, we have Leo the lion, right? But we have the straw man. The straw man was looking for a brain or a communication. I see him as a mutable figure. There's something about you organizing your thoughts, Leo, whether it be in a diary or a journal or a book or something like this. You have a lot to share, Leo, and I'll leave that with God's spirit. I want to encourage you to keep on the writing and the researching, because you have a lot to say, and people will hear through your sincerity what you need to offer to them in about 2.5 months. Okay, Leo. Thank you. Many blessings. Okay, we'll do one more, my dear friends. Okay. Kimberly Petku. Love saying your name. Kimberly Petku. Yes, okay. All right. As I'm tuning into you, my dear Kimberly, I'm Spirit is saying they are well pleased with your spiritual development, that and I'm not sure if you have been doing this consistently, but that I don't know if you've been giving readings or receiving information for other people, but that you're really working on relaxing into your spiritual gifts. That's the word they are using. Spirit is saying to me that you have the capacity to work with others and to give them spiritual advice and to give them spiritual guidance, because you weren't trying so hard anymore. It's flowing through you, Kimberly. And they're saying, job well done. And there's a part of you that wants to jump into it with both feet. But Spirit says that it's okay to be like the tortoise, a little bit at a time, because you're also extremely preoccupied with so many family situations where you are on the short list of guidance and support. In other words, the expression frontliners, many of us are not frontliners, first responders or frontliners, either way. People in our families who are often expected to pick up the pieces for everybody else. That's what I'm picking up with you, Kimberly, that you would like to maybe pursue some more spiritual pursuits, but there's a lot of other people who need a lot of other guidance from you on a practical level. And you're very good at it, by the way. Okay. You give good common sense, and you have to. So it's like your day job is interfering with your passion, but don't worry about that. All in good time. I'm also seeing with you, how interesting, June of next year, where things really start to flower, and you're doing more of the work you want to do. And I'm getting the hiccups that you have encountered, and there have been a lot of hiccups in the past 4 months of distractions, are going to steady and be more stable. Sometimes people say that sometimes people say they would like to have a little less trauma in their lives. But then the opposite of that is kind of quiet with not a lot going on. You would like a lot more quiet with a lot going on, because you've been very attentive to so many. That quiet and that calmness comes into June of next year. I'm getting an interesting name with you, Kimberly. The name is Sebastian. I'm just going to give you that name. It's just such a unique name. I don't know if that is a name that resonates with you. Actually, it's a name. I think there was a Saint Sebastian. What Spirit is telling me is for you to look up what and who Saint Sebastian was, or what he did. No idea. No clue. But I want to leave that name with you this evening with God's blessings. Okay. Thank you, my dear friends. Does it make sense? Good. Good. That's spot on. I'm glad that you enjoyed that. And I certainly enjoy working with spirit and enjoy working with all of you. So I will be back next Wednesday, fingers crossed. I won't have any more unwanted visitors from the V land. I don't think so. I'm so grateful that I've got this body that's filled with antibodies now, right? Antibodies, yes. Um, but God willing, I'll be back next Wednesday, right after Yule and right before Christmas. If you happen to be in need or in want of a little winter solstice meditation, please join me on my Facebook and on my YouTube on the moment of solstice here in Western New York, in Buffalo, right around 11 in the morning on the 21st. I'll be doing a little online healing and meditation on Tuesday. I love this time of year. I really do. It really is very profound, kind of like what we're talking about regarding, the solar eclipse, how light returns. It's wonderful to be living on a planet, on a plane of existence where we have darkness and we have light. And all you have to do is just be patient. Because if you're unhappy, wait a while. You're going to get back into the light. If you're super happy, wait a little while because the darkness will descend. But that's the beauty of astrology. What comes up must come down, and the cycles keep on spinning. So many blessings to you, dear friends. I'll see you next week. And thank you. My YouTube channel. My name is Cassandra Joan Butler, and you can see me. I also have just my own personal page. It's Cassandra Joan Butler. And, but I'm also known as, and please don't you forget, as Agent 56, the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. And please, you will do yourself a tremendous favor to take advantage of the wonderful offerings here at the CIA. This is really the premier website and Facebook page on the planet of learning about astrology and sharing astrology. And there's so many amazing, gifted astrologers out there who are contributing to the CIA, of which I am a very happy and proud member. Agent 56 signing out for now. Until next Wednesday. Many blessings, friends.